You're listening to A Midlife Less Ordinary, the weekly podcast giving you the lowdown on becoming a cool older dude. The good times are not a faded memory. It's time to start living them again. And here are your hosts, Wayne and Trev.
Yeah, welcome to another Midlife Less Ordinary. And my name's Wayne, and welcome to a little more smooth FM version of an episode this week. And my planet rock god friend Trev is standing here waiting to come in.
I'm just adjusting my cardigan for this one.
We haven't got Valdunicon on.
No, but I'm in that vibe now, an acoustic kind of vibe, a more chilled, more bring it down to turning vegan, Trev.
Sounds like sarcasm. I don't like it, Trev, from you. But
it might be slightly sarcastic.
It sounds sarcastic, but
yes,
we thought we'd show everyone that we're not one-trick rock god ponies. We're not just all about the rock music. Everyone thinks that about Trev and his little badges that he has on himself.
It's not just about the devil horns. It's not just about amplification. It's just not about leather and studs. It's just we appreciate a lot of different stuff.
And that's just our fetishes. And that's about the episode.
We're not one-trick heavy metal ponies.
No, and that's exactly what we're here to do. As you know, we love our music. We like to promote music and artists that are trying to break, and even established artists. And today we've got a guest. His name is Harrison Rimmer. He's an acoustic solo artist. He plays the guitar, writes his own songs. He's got plenty of music out there. If you Google his name, I'm sure he'll tell us about it. And it's a bit different for us because we wanted to prove to everyone that we don't just promote one type of music. We're
not just loud.
Yeah, we're not just loud. You
not
can
just
play
loud.
No.
We're a bit more toned down. When we need to take it down, we can take it down.
Yeah,
just right.
Yeah, you can have something to accompany a nice dinner party, and we'll be pushing it to you.
Yeah,
just on the corner of the road in a black BMW.
I like to think that we could get the fondue set out. Yeah, if you needed to, put your dimmer switches down and get the fondue out. Have you ever had fondue?
Is that like the thing you sit around and share food and everything?
It's like a slimy cheese in like a bowl that you all dip into. It's horrible. It's absolutely revolting. Yeah. It's absolutely revolting. I've got a bit of a problem with melted cheese.
Yeah, but you made fondue sound so exciting. I fancied it more than the condensed milk you done a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and it's food for sharing.
Yeah,
food for sharing.
Well, I'm down with sharing. You're very down with sharing. You know, let's share. Let's share Harrison Rimmer with the world.
Let's exactly.
With no further ado, here's our interview.
Not cheesy. Harrison's not cheesy.
No, Harrison isn't at all. He's very good actually, and I've been listening to him for a while.
Very talented young man.
With no further ado, here's Harrison Rimmer. Harrison, thank you for joining us today, and I want to start by asking you, how would you describe the music to our audience that you create and you write and you perform?
Ooh, I'm probably going to go with it's the sound of the soul of Marvin Gaye with the power of Springsteen with the noise of Nirvana. I'd probably go with.
Wow, you've been asked that a few times, obviously.
That is, Three artists that meant a lot to people over the time. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, rehearsal is key, isn't it, lads?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you they're three people you admire, obviously a lot, Harrison. Yeah.
Yeah, well, my music spectrum goes from Slayer to Bob Marley in 2 seconds. I listen to literally everything and anything.
Oh, now you're talking Trev's language. He's talking about Slayer.
Yeah.
Probably not so much now, though, is it?
Yeah, obviously, I've always had a bit of an emotional side with Slayer. But what I thought Harrison said then was he was actually mixing Bob Marley and Slayer.
That would be some feat, wouldn't it?
No.
That'd be something.
I'll tell you something. I actually once did a song combining the influence of Shakira and Black Flag, which is my attempt to I love Black Flag and like Shakira as well. And there's a song called Noise where I tried to combine samba with punk.
See, I like Shakira, but it's for different reasons. So it's like...
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I don't think it's got a lot to do with her sound.
No, I have the sound turned down if I'm being honest. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's good. No, it's good to be, at the end of the day, all jokes to one side, Harris, it's good to be versatile, isn't it? And have different sounds. And I can tell with your music, to be fair, that it comes from the heart.
Yeah, well, so I kind of feel as though if you're going to write songs and put it out there, you might as well give it everything you got and just really express yourself, you know?
Yeah, that's cool.
100%, Harrison. That's if you're going to do it, get it all out. To be honest, no good leaving anything behind. Talking of Bruce Springsteen, would he be the kind of guy that you'd want if you could open a show for any artist? Would it be to a crowd like Bruce Springsteen's? Would that do you think your music would go across well to that kind of crowd?
Ooh, in my head, yes, but I think it's because that might be my ego talking. But I do feel as though I'd love to have the opportunity if it ever came up, like in my wildest dreams. If that happened, I would probably lose my mind and be like, okay. But I'd love the opportunity to, because being on stage for me is like my happy place. Just what I've noticed over lockdown, especially, is I've missed being on stage with the band, playing songs, and just being in that moment of just raw emotion, you know?
Yeah.
I can imagine that. I think it must have affected so many artists, because it's a lifestyle, isn't it, Harrison? That's the thing. And all of a sudden, you've had that taken away from you, and you've got to. But to be honest, a lot of the artists I've liked, and I think you've done it as well, have obviously adapted really well to using like the internet to get their music across with sessions. You know, have you felt that way? What you've done with that?
I described this to someone when I was at work the day. I said it was like Nicorette for smokers. It's good, but it's just not the same. You know, it's like I've met a new fan base. I've met a new fan base playing it. And I've met some more incredible people and like really socialized in a different way, which is awesome. But I do miss the feeling of like just charging around a bar going, yeah, you know?
As fans of music, Wayne and I have missed that. You can never replace, I think I mentioned this on the Hazy Janes episode we did, you can't replace that buzz, that kind of adrenaline, that hair on the back of your neck standing up when a band comes on. Especially if you wait a long time to see someone that you admire. I think it's really hard to encapsulate. I don't think that can go on anywhere else. I don't.
It's a strange moment when you hit the stage for the first time after a while. I remember when I was supporting Paul Banks and Rick Witter from Shed 7, and it was a sold-out show in York. And man, it was crazy. It was the biggest crowd I played to that point. It was like 700 people in this small venue. Right. And I remember the whole day being like, oh, this is kind of chill. Yeah, biggest crowd, whatever, man. It's in the sports. Oh, this is really cool. Yeah. And literally the first 10 seconds before going on stage, it hit like, it's 700 people. Oh, God. Okay, here we go. And then you walk.
Go on, Harrison, carry on. Sorry.
Yeah. So then you walk on stage and the adrenaline just takes over, muscle memory kicks in, and you just go, right, just look at the back of the room, interact with the crowd as much as possible, and just have fun with it, you know?
Yeah, because I played in a couple of bands back in the day. I used to sing in a couple of bands, and
the albums are available on 73s. Yeah,
not the bargain bin either. I remember like looking out, and before I went on stage, again, like yourself, and this was about probably half the size crowd that you played with. But I just developed this really nervous cough before I went on. And it wasn't like a kind of like a real cough. It was just like a little like that. It was so bizarre. And I couldn't get rid of it until I actually walked on the stage and sort of sang the first words. And it just went. It was like a nervous affliction. Do you ever get anything like that where it's kind of, have you learned something to get you over that initial stage fright, or is it just the initial standing on the balls that gets you out of it?
I find, I'll be honest, I don't even write a set list out most of the time. I just walk on stage and just let the panic of the adrenaline rush of just being in that moment and just trying to give someone an experience that's better than everything they've had that day. You know, just trying to be the best showman I can. So it's weird. It's kind of like when you go into on a jog. You know, you get like when you get running and you start running along. It's like you have the initial panic of the breath going all over the place. Once you get your breathing right in your zone, it just flows, you know.
It's a bit like Trev making his weird phone calls to me sometimes, getting his breathing right. It's a bit creepy, exactly. Harrison.
I'm nervous before I do it, but once I get on the side, I'm convinced.
He's very good at it. Yeah.
I'm convinced how turned on I am.
Oh dear. Oh dear, I better move on there, Harrison. Yeah, Trevor always takes it to a dark place. But
Fantastic.
Harrison, I can see that you've toured a few countries actually with your music. Where have you toured in the world, and where did you enjoy the most? Where were the most enthusiastic audience that you played to?
Oh man! So those who have never heard my story before, I had the pleasure of touring around the UK, around Ireland, around the Netherlands, around Germany,
Wow.
Australia, and parts of Asia, which was crazy because in Australia, me and my other half, we drove from Adelaide to Darwin to the outback in a Hyundai Getz in 2010. We travelled the east part of the country, so we did Sydney to Adelaide, Adelaide up to Darwin, Darwin across to Cairns, and then looped that, just playing in outback bars, pubs, a couple of petrol stations.
Oh, cool! Did you plan all this before you went, Harrison? The gigs? Did you have to plan all this or did you do it while you was there?
It was on the fly, really. It's a case of, it was the mentality I had when I first started out in the UK. Whenever I go playing a new country, the mentality I have is, you don't know who I am, so I'm starting from square one. And it's a whole learning experience. When I was over in Australia, that was a real learning curve. Because I went over there and there was a map. We just threw a map on the table and we went, right, we're going to go there, there, and there. Call them now. I was like, okay.
I think sometimes doing something like that is probably one of the best things you could do.
Yeah.
Because there's no...
Oh, yeah.
You're not that... Obviously, you are worried it's going to go well, but what's the worst that could happen, if that makes sense? You've got you're not kind of, there's not an actual benchmark of, well, this is what it should be like. Everything's new, everything's, and nobody in those crowds probably has heard of you, if that makes sense. Yeah. No taking away from you, but
exactly. It's true.
No preemptions of it. It's great. I think that because they can just take in a blank page, they're completely. I
should think an Australian crowd, to be fair, could be quite harsh on you if you're not confident and everything. Is that true, Harrison?
Oh, so true. I'll tell you, I've got some footage of where I played at Barrow Creek for 2 nights. I was there, and I was talking to the owner, and he pulled me aside after the set. Went, mate, you're playing that song too quick. Just slow it down for me, please. I'm like, yeah, no worries, mate. And this guy literally looked me dead in the face in this outback bar. After this guy just told me to slow down, he went, mate, can you play something else, mate? Like, just seriously, I like your songs, but just do something different, please. I'm like, okay. So I have to learn on the fly.
Yeah, you do. You learn in the real world, Harrison.
Respect Australian music lovers, but you got to remember this is the country that gave us In Excess.
Yeah, and also Kylie Minogue.
Oh yes, and
yeah,
really
So don't knock it, Trev, because exactly.
The music taste isn't exactly.
Craig McLachlan was all right. He was from Neighbours as well. He was good. But
don't forget AC/DC, Peter Frampton. Was it Peter Frampton? No, John Farnham.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, John Farnham. Yeah. Jimmy Barnes. Jimmy Barnes as well.
Yeah.
Jimmy Barnes. Cold Chisel, amazing. I love those guys.
Yeah. And obviously AC/DC, probably the biggest.
Well, yeah. Now we're getting. We should have left it at the original joke because we've actually quelled it now. Yeah, we've actually proved the opposite of what we intended there, haven't we?
Yeah. But actually, I was struggling for a really crappy band.
We started off with it, but
they're not that bad.
So they've got some good music too, fair.
So Harrison, you've got your album. Was you playing that when you was touring? Was you promoting your album?
No, so that was literally a case of I've been touring around Germany. I had I was going through a bit of an interesting time in my personal life where I'd just been through a breakup. So I'm traveling around Ireland. I came back to the UK, met my now fiance.
Congratulations!
Thank you very kindly. I don't know how she puts up with me. And we've been together for 2 or 3 weeks, and I had a visa for Australia already booked and the flight's already planned.
Wow!
I just said, "Do you want to come with me?" And she said, "Yeah, sure." So we went traveling over there, and the music thing really came about because I bought a guitar in Sydney, which I called Bruce originally, which is classy. And we just literally thought, well, since I'm here and I like playing music, let's see if I can make this happen over here. And it was the best experience, really. It's proper, going back to basics. There's no, playing in the UK is fun. I love playing in the UK, don't get me wrong. So I cut my teeth, it's where I'm from. But after a while, you do get a familiarity with playing around,
Yeah, exactly.
But when you go to Australia and you play in a petrol station and see people driving full-on RVs, and in some cases, I saw one person driving with no car doors. Really wakes you up a little bit.
I've been on the set of Mad Max there, Harry.
Yeah.
To be honest.
It was outback, man. It's crazy. We drove. It took us 10 days of just pure desert to go from Adelaide to Darwin. And that was just literally desert roads for miles. It plays tricks in your mind actually after a while.
Harrison, are you actually a full-time musician at the moment, or do you have to subsidise, obviously, working as a musician and while you're trying to break, obviously?
I currently subsidise it. So when I was in Australia, it was mainly the full-time gig. And then when I came back to the UK, I came really to help my folks out. And with all this lockdown stuff going on, the music's become like a part-time thing, which is cool. But I do miss playing every night to different people.
You play. I see you live shows. Obviously, we clicked on the other day. That's the boy. But we were watching you the other day playing a gig. Was it at your garden? Was it, Harrison?
Yes, it was.
It was a nice garden, to be fair. You can tell you lot up north have a better standard of living than us when we live in our little rabbit hutches.
Yeah,
look like Downton Abbey.
From behind the bins in the alley.
Yeah.
When we actually get to the type of video in it, we're going to put like a painting of a nice waterfall behind it, make out we're doing it from there. But what we're actually doing is doing it from like a couple of bins behind the back.
There you go. I like it. I like that.
Harrison, you said like you played Germany. I know obviously a lot of European countries like English is a second language. And I think really the English are quite sort of ignorant that they don't speak other languages. But how did the sort of language barrier go over in Germany? Was that a problem or for your music, obviously?
I've noticed with the German crowds, it's very much about the energy. Like if you give a good energy and a good vibe, they they really connect. I remember my first gig there was in this bar in Wuppertal. What's it called again? That's going to upset me because it's burned in my head. It's such a good bar. Anyway, played this bar. First night there. Didn't expect to really go on stage. And I'm on stage in front of this packed out bar. And they're just staring at the stage. And they're going, right, what can you do? And I just went, hello, my name's Harrison Rimmer. And this song is ripped to the magazine. They went, just stared. And they started playing. And this guy came on stage to play cajon and just started jamming with me. I was like, I've been accepted. It's okay.
That's cool. Yes, yeah. Because I've actually seen a few gigs in Germany. I've been at one of the festivals over there. And as you say, the audience is different in Germany. You know? It's quite. I wouldn't say standoffish, but they are waiting for you to kind of hit the big ones. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like
I think English audiences, you kind of roll with it, and they're quite. Let's see what we can do. But I think some of the European countries are more like, well, come on, get on with it. That's what I noticed anyway.
Well, what I noticed with some of the shows I played, the people I met were bloody lovely. They were so friendly and very welcoming. I got treated. It's weird. I get treated better playing shows outside the UK than I do in the UK with a lot of stuff. That's not knocking the English promoters at all. They do wonderful work and it's a tough gig. But it's like what I noticed from the German crowd in particular was some of them were a bit standoffish, but some were also very accepting. And if they didn't like what you're doing, they'd tell you straight after the show, like didn't like it or they did like it. It's kind of like a more less sweary version of an Aussie.
Yeah. Can imagine
like
it.
Aussie,
It's character building, though, isn't it? Because you get to know, you learn quickly that way. We're a bit ambiguous sometimes, the British. We're sort of like, we don't want to be rude, so we're kind of bit too polite. So you actually don't learn anything from that, do you?
Oh, it's so true. What I noticed was I used to play in York quite a lot. So I played at York open mics every other night. It was like there's 5 in a week, so I played 5 times, sometimes 7 nights a week, just constantly playing.
Wow.
And when I came back to the York scene after touring around Germany, touring around Australia, a friend of mine who I admired as a songwriter, Isaac Lister, he came over to me and went, "You've really improved, you know." I was like, "Have I?" He's like, "Yeah, your stage banter's more mature. The way you handle a crowd better than it was before. You can just see the development." I'm like, so that I didn't realize it affected me until I heard that, and that made me a bit emotional, to be honest. So it did.
Yeah, it would do. Because to be honest, you can rehearse and rehearse and rehearse. And try and get things so perfect, but I don't think there's nothing like learning on the road. I think
exactly.
Like we like us with this podcast, we're waiting for that experience, and Wayne just doesn't get it.
I wondered when that was going to come.
All the time, and I'm like, don't you ever learn what is going on? Does it not sink in what we're doing? You know, this is the 389th show, and he's still blah blah blah. It's upsetting. I understand, Harrison. I get it.
Yeah, it's just it gets you in the way. Like, and for some reason, when I play in the home scene in York, for me, it just whenever I see someone I haven't seen for a while, and they go, "Dude," I'm like, "Don't you're gonna send me off?" And like when the guy said to me, a big worry for me was leaving the York scene and not having a house there. Was that I'd be not a part of the scene anymore, because the scene there is incredible. The people there are lovely. There's some great process like One for the Road. And I got worried that I'd be forgotten, you know, and I wouldn't be a part of it.
Have you got some gigs planned? Obviously, with what's been going on for the last year or so, Harrison, we've been playing your live gigs online, which has kept obviously your audience entertained and obviously kept you in with your music. So, have you got any gigs planned? I think you've got a charity gig, haven't you, coming up or something? I believe.
I did. Sadly, I found out yesterday the show next Saturday has been cancelled due to some government restrictions.
Oh dear.
Oh.
So yeah, but these things happen. Hopefully, we'll get a new date for that. But there's some more.
It's tempting to edit that out because it sounds a bit sad that the government are back controlling us again. But
but there's a positive in all this.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah. It's like we've got more shows booked. I'm working with Unearth Management now, which is cool. I've got a good team backing me up, and I'm booking shows left, right, and centre. You know, I feel as though it's good to keep hoping for the show, and the second I hit that stage, it's going to be like lightning in the bottle. It's going to be something.
Yeah, never let it beat you down, Harrison, because that's
We're talking about lightning in a bottle. You're going to be able to hit some lightning in a bottle now, Harrison, by making Trev look very silly in our little.
It won't be hard, Harrison, but give it a go.
We'll see.
This is our weekly segment we like to call Test the Guest, but it's also Test Trev as well, and this is where I get my revenge on Trev for all the horrible things he says during the show, even though he'll try and turn that round. But here's our little jingle for that segment. Test the guest. We're going to test the guest. We're going to test the guest. We're going to test the guest. Test the guest. Do I get a job as your?
To an Australian petrol.
Yeah, you wouldn't take that to an Australian petrol station, would you? Anytime soon.
You should give that a go. You should give it a go. So.
You obviously want to get me seriously harmed. Thanks, Harrison, for that. Yeah, cheers. I thought you were so nice up until this. I listened to you every night, and then you've done that to me.
I'm sorry, mate.
I've chosen one of your influences that you mentioned earlier, actually, as the subject for this week's Test the Guest, and it's Marvin Gaye. As I say, it's just a bit of fun. Sometimes Trev jammily wins, and there is a temptation for me to edit him losing big time, but I don't do that because of authenticity. I want to keep it as it is. So we'll keep it real. You know, we don't expect you to know. It's just a bit of fun. A few questions on Marvin Gaye. Are you up for this, Harrison?
Let's get it on.
Right. Let's get it on. That's good. I like that. I like what he did there. That's going to get an applause just for that. That's an applause right there.
I'm just going, I don't even think of that.
Yeah, you're gutted now, man. Because you don't know him, you're not going to be able to think of anything funny, and we can make you look very silly. Right. Exactly. So, Harrison, this one's for you. It's a multiple choice. What was the birth name of Marvin Gaye? Was it Marvin Frederick Gaye Jr., Marvin Pence Gaye Jr., Marvin Solomon Gaye Jr., or Marvin Everton Gaye Jr.?
I'm going to go with Solomon, I think.
Solomon. I hate to do this to you, Harrison. It's actually Marvin Pence Gaye Jr., and it was actually, his name is spelt Gay, G-A-Y, not right. Nightclub, but he actually added, Marvin Pence Gaye Jr. was his birth name. The E was added to his surname later. In the film. So I've got to try and level this up. So I'm trying to find the hardest question I can find here, just for Trev. This will be good. On what date was Gaye born in 1939? Was it April the 1st, April the 2nd, April the 3rd, or April the 4th, Mr. Trev?
There's not a lot of scope there, is there?
No, there's not a lot of scope and not a lot of escape. You've got a 25% chance of looking
all pretty close.
Looking good. First, second, third, or fourth?
The third.
Oh, thank God for that. It's actually April the 2nd. Just so you know for future reference in your future quizzes.
I wasn't going to say April the 1st.
I know, because that was the obvious one. I know, because it's a fool.
That's all.
Yeah. Harrison, your next question. Where in the United States was Gay born? It all sounds a bit weird when you actually say it like this, when these questions come out. But you've got to be a bit careful in this day and age. Where in the United States was Gay born? Was it Philadelphia, Chicago, Detroit, or Washington, D.C.?
Philadelphia.
I hate to do this again.
Not a good day.
We're having a day of sad trombones, but it's that sort of the questions are not about his music, which is I was consciously did this. It's mostly because I'm catching out Trev. I hate to. What I should have done is I said questions about what's going on for Harrison, and one's about his date of birth for Trev. But
you're all right, mate. You're all right.
It's all good. It's all good. Trev, you're not going to get this either. We got a 25% chance. What was Gay? You could see me hosting on Channel 4 very soon, couldn't you? Obviously, some sort of quiz show. Yeah. What was Gay's father known to do for a living? Was he a music teacher?
Oh, I know this.
Oh, sorry, mate. A music teacher, a preacher, a salesman, or a janitor?
I think I know this as well.
No, you don't.
Was he a preacher?
No! I hate it when this happens. I hate it when this happens. No. I'm so sorry, Harrison.
Let's watch him VH1 music documentaries.
Yes, he watches too much TV. His father was a preacher with the Obscure House of God, and the two often clashed. Gay was 3 years old when he began singing in his father's church choir and was soon playing with his organ. And oh no, dear, don't go there. We won't go there. But it gets a bit weird.
Marvin Gaye.
Yeah. Question 5. Hang on, let's make sure. Hang on. I'm going to give question 6 to Harrison, actually. I hope you get this one. Who was the backing singer on the first recording of White Earp? Was it Little Richard, Frankie Valli, Bo Diddley, or Smokey Robbins?
Smokey Robbins.
Oh, no. Harrison, don't do this to me. I hate to do
It's not going well today.
Yeah,
Bill Richard.
Bo Diddley on his way to fame and fortune, it was, unfortunately. So I hope Trev don't get this now because he's going to be a hero again. I have to play Top Gun music and all that. Like, he gets me to play Danger Zone, like just because.
That's a banging tune, mate.
Yeah, it is a banging tune. We say this about
Loggins.
Yeah.
Harrison, anything that Kenny Loggins touched in the 80s was gold.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Funny enough, I met him in a toilet in Hampstead Heath, and he touched. Yeah, and it's turned to go. Yeah, it's don't go there. What was Trev? This is your last question. What was the name of the doo-wop group that Gay sang with on the street corners of DC that brought his love of music to life? Was it the Rain? No. Go on then. Try and answer it now then.
Yeah, go on. It was the Backstreet Boys.
The Backstreet Boys. Okay. Oh, Trevor's doing it for comic effect and to be funny. That is quite funny. But if I had to give you the answers, it would be the rainbows, the raindrops, the clouds, or the showers. What would you say?
Raindrops.
No, you're wrong. So, just so I can do that twice to you. And that's it. That concludes Test the Guest this week.
What was it then?
It was the rainbows.
Oh.
Well, you really thought it was the Backstreet Boys?
Well.
Backstreet's back, all right? You know.
I just thought I could just see Marvin Gaye's talent being dropped for the Backstreet Boys, trying to bring it down a level. Yeah.
So, Harrison, getting back to some more serious matters, obviously. Where do you draw your inspiration from when you're writing your songs? What's your favourite part of the process? So, why are these songs coming? They sound like they're coming from your heart. So where do you draw this inspiration from?
Usually from day-to-day life, really. I look back at stuff I've done. I'll be playing the guitar and I'll start singing gibberish and something will fall out my head. And then I'm like, oh, that links to something. And then I start thinking about what happened in that line. And then it happens. Although in a couple of cases, it's gone from talking to my friends and hearing their stories and then writing about that.
So it's just you're drawing on your life experiences and you just, like you said earlier, leaving it all out there, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, It's the way to do it.
It comes across.
Rip your heart out.
It does come across, to be fair, Harrison. It
I
does.
think with someone like Harrison's music, that kind of acoustic stuff, I think that goes hand in hand. It goes very well with that. It's not a kind of, well, it is a storyteller's kind of music, but it's better emotionally. It's better linked to real feelings, isn't it, Harrison? That's my opinion on it. I would have thought.
Yeah, well, it's like I had like a weird like movement in my lyrics when I was younger. So I used to write a lot of punk music and tried to be like Misfits and all that stuff. I tried to be like that, and then I noticed that I wasn't being genuine to myself, and it didn't come across well with my audience either. So I started just being like, right, here's what I'm going through. Boom, have it.
Yeah.
That's
So
it.
if you wanted to pick one of your songs to kind of showcase you completely, what tune would it be, Harrison?
Well, that's really tough.
I know it's like picking your favourite child. It must be hard.
It's oh my god! Well, I mean, some of the songs that I like that I've written, I've not even released yet. That's coming to the album at some point. But "I'm on Fire" is a good one. "Proud," Flares.
Right, yeah, I'm familiar with them. I've listened to those.
Oh, thank you, man.
We're going to actually play Pray Ploud. You had to be proud, didn't it? Because I couldn't even say that properly. Pray Ploud. We're going to play Proud in the outro, Harrison. So obviously that song means a lot to you. So can you explain the meaning behind that song, Proud?
Yeah, of course, man. So that song was written during a very self-destructive period of my life, to be honest. I was going through a phase where I was touring heavily. I was working in a job at the same time where I wasn't. I was working a lot of hours, and I came back from touring, and I felt like, am I doing right by the people I care about? Am I doing right by myself? Am I making the people I love the most proud? And it started off as like as a mantra, like, do I make you proud?
Wow.
Do I put your mind at ease? And it all just starts to flow. And it's really about my relationship with my parents.
Wow.
Because it's not, it's, I don't really dedicate songs to my folks at gigs, but I thought it was about time, because if it wasn't for them, well, I wouldn't be here for a start. And also, I went to pick up the guitar. It wasn't for my dad. If he didn't encourage me to pick up the guitar in that music school near Preston, I wouldn't have been able to play the guitar. You know? Yeah,
give you that much joy. Yeah.
So, on that note, did your dad kind of give you a lot of advice on what? Because you're very encouraging by the sound of it, which is lovely to hear. But if you had to pick one piece of advice you picked up over your touring, playing with other musicians, recording and that, what would it be, Harrison? What would you put out there as something that you could pass over to other people?
Are you talking about life advice or music advice?
Anything really, mate. Whatever you feel like you could, what would you like to say about it?
Take risks. That's why I've learned. It's just got to life
comfort zone again.
Just got. It's a cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason, because we do find ourselves we do run to our comfort zones when things get tough, or But it's good to push yourself and challenge yourself, So don't be afraid of the challenge.
Yeah. Actually, that would make a really good bookend to our episode. Actually, our best performing episode from season 1, Harrison, was about expanding your comfort zones and taking risks in life and doing a bit more, and that sums it up nicely, to be honest.
I should have took a lot of people's advice before we did this podcast. A lot of people say, don't work with Wayne. It really is.
I even said it myself. I said, don't work with me. Don't do it. Yeah.
And I thought, you've got to take a risk in these lives, and you feel like you can.
And some of them fail, unfortunately.
And to be honest, I'm the kind of guy, emotionally, in my character, that can help people up when they've fallen down. And I knew Wayne had fallen down quite a few times in his life.
Like Michael Douglas in the film.
Like Michael. Exactly. So I thought I could bring him up. And luckily I didn't listen to the haters. And here we are today talking to yourself. So it's all worked out.
It's worked out all right. Hey. See, I bring him to the best places. And I'd just like to ask you a question to finish off, Harrison, just a fun one, really. You got a music video for "I'm on Fire," and you're walking on a beach somewhere, because we both hail from a place called Southend-on-Sea. We're not as proud of it as you guys are north of where you come from. We could tell that from the other episodes we've done. But yeah, we can see you. What's the story behind the video then? Where was it filmed and everything? And it looks like fun, because you actually throw yourself in the water at one stage, I noticed.
Yes, that's right. It's for That's Why I'm on Fire. That was in Blackpool. It's
Blackpool. Oh, it did look nice, to be fair.
We tried our best. We really tried. It's got some characters as Blackpool. It's a blend of Lytham and Blackpool. What happened was with that one, I walked up to the producer Pook's house, and I was like, right, I need a video. What shall we do? He's like, I don't know. What do you want to do? I was like, shall we walk on the sand? Yeah, sure. And then literally walk around, and we're trying to be like, be reflective and like, deep. So walking around singing this song, and then he's like, right, we're going to throw you in the sea. What? So
you could swim first, Harry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. I love swimming. I love this guy. I love swimming.
That's
But
right.
but it's like, did you have to bring a spare pair of clothes? He's like, yeah, I did just in case. Well, that's good because you're going to go swim in the sea. And I'm like, okay.
Okay.
And
Okay. You're right, Harrison. It's all about suffering for your art, mate.
Speaking of suffering for your art, the ironic but hilarious twist of all this is I got sunburnt heavily that
day. In Blackpool, that's saying something, Harrison, to be fair.
I'm ginger. I burn in the moon.
It's actually, it suits the song very well, Harrison. It's actually it's a really good music video.
Thank you very much. Oh, thank you.
So where can people, I think we've got some links from you to putting on the website so people can find your music and everything. Where can people see you, or where would you like people to look for you who are listening to this podcast?
Well, if you just pop into Google my name, I'm all over the place. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the good spots. Spotify, Deezer, Apple Music. Or just pop on Instagram and go like,
you're easy. To be fair, I just talked to Alexa and you're there. Yeah, to be fair. So, I'll say to everyone, every now and then you did it, say to Alexa, play some music by Harrison Rimmer. You'll enjoy your dinner that little bit more. It's good fun.
Yeah, that's cool. That's nice.
Yeah, watch out for the early
like
stuff.
Like a musical after 8.
Yeah. Well, depends on which era of me you listen to. I've been doing this for 10 years now. So the early stuff's very...
You're still nowhere near as old as us, Harrison. You're fortunate to know.
No.
Well, I'm sure you're fabulous enough as it is, mate. You're all right. But it's like... the early stuff's very punk influence. It's very Nirvana. It's very much trying to be like, yeah! And the newer stuff's a lot more... The singer-songwriter is a lot more calm,
Right. You
so
can't be angry.
Watch out.
Yeah, that punk stage doesn't go by. Yeah.
I mean, being ginger, I've got a fiery temper, to be honest. But
we're on our best behaviour. We're going to put all the links on the website, Harrison. We really thank you for joining us today. It's been really great to have you on the podcast.
Pleasure talking to you.
And we hope we can catch you at one of your gigs at some point in the future, mate.
Yeah, definitely.
I look forward to it. We'll have a pint and celebrate it, yeah?
Thanks very much.
Thanks,
Cheers,
Harrison.
So as you heard during the interview, Harrison chose Proud as the song he wished us to play during the outro today. Proud was a song he wrote at a time of his life where he was worried about what his parents thought about what he was up to and what he was doing in his life. It's a real heartfelt song, and we hope you enjoy.
Do I make you proud? Do I put your mind at ease with all I do? Not to fool you. Do I make you proud? Do I put your mind at ease with the craziness that is my life? And life's not fair, but I've got you on my side to dust me off when life beats me down. And I've not been fair. I've been breaking your heart and making a mess since I was born. And it's been tough since day one, but your love alone has gotten me this far. But do I make you proud? Do I put your mind at ease with all I do? Not to fool you. Do I make you proud? Do I put your mind at ease with the craziness that is my life? Do I make you proud? And it's been tough since day one, but your love alone has gotten me this far. But do I make you proud? Do I put your mind at ease with all I do, not to fool you? Do I make you proud? Do I put your mind at ease with the craziness that is my life? Do I make you proud? Do I make you proud?
So Trev, I thought that Harrison come across as a lovely guy, really talented as well, and really works hard. What do you think?
He really, really working hard, trying to get his music out there, touring places that wouldn't really. It's hard to get there independently. It's all right for these musicians that have got big tours booked. They're flying there by jet. But to drive all that way in Australia just to get your music out there, that's brilliant. You got
what a brave man, as I say,
Yeah.
to play petrol stations in Australia.
Yeah, because they're harsh crowds, petrol stations, as we said. They're harsh crowds.
They are. They just want their fuel. They don't want to hear
their fuel.
generally.
All they want is their fuel and a pepperami, I would have thought. Or the Australian
Do they like
version of a
pepperamis in Australia?
I don't know. I don't know if they have Australian pepperamis. Would they be made out of kangaroo, do you reckon?
I don't know, but that's probably not allowed to be said in this day and age. They're
kangaroo.
probably protected animals or something. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. One of the other things I picked up, which I never dreamed, well, I say dreamed, that's a bit, never thought about someone like Harrison, is the sort of stuff he's doing. And then when we were talking to him, he mentioned like the Misfits and Black Flag, who are like two of the most aggressive punk bands around. I like a lot of that stuff. But he's playing this kind of nice, kind of cool vibe, acoustic, heartfelt stuff. But he's got influences like that. It just shows you that people have got such diverse influences, but play such different stuff.
Yeah.
You know, as a bit like my Pet Shop Boys reference.
Yeah, you always try and get them in somewhere. Yeah, you know that
exactly,
Pet Shop Boys actually mean something. You know that there's
it's
a meaning
subliminal.
behind it.
It's like the movie They Live.
Yes.
When I look sometimes, instead of seeing like a L'Oreal advert or a Heineken advert, can we mention those products on here?
Only if they pay us, I think. But,
Cool.
Yeah.
But all I see is like Pet Shop Boys, Pet Shop Boys, Pet Shop Boys. Shows you how
He's definitely getting paid for this. But yeah.
Thank you, Neil Tennant.
Neil Tennant, yeah, extra. But you're getting extra out of that for sure.
Yeah.
But
yes,
it's but you saying that, actually, I've listened, as you probably know, and probably because of reasons you think that are a bit shady now. I've listened to Harrison's work on Alexa.
Did you go a bit misty eyed? Did you get a bit? Did you get a bit?
Sorry. I don't want to go here. It's personal,
sorry.
But if you leave Alexa running, because obviously algorithms work where your popular songs come out first if you just say play songs by an artist. And then get to them songs that are obviously more influenced by the Misfits and a bit more shouty. Actually, they're very good as well.
I like the idea that the Springsteen thing's good.
Yeah.
Because it's that working class musician hero.
Exactly.
You know, Springsteen really kind of captured that. I'm not a massive Springsteen fan. I admire him.
You've got to admire him.
I know some of his stuff. But yeah, that's
he's got a podcast that's nowhere near as obviously as well received as this one.
Ours.
Yeah, nowhere
I
near.
can imagine.
No,
I can imagine.
So much so he calls us the bosses. You know.
Really?
Yeah.
What, the two bosses?
The bosses, yeah.
The bosses.
Yeah,
plural.
bosses. Yeah, exactly. He's given up that title to us. And Courtney Cox wants to dance in front of us. It's
really
great.
Can I just pull her out the crowd and like?
Yeah, it's not for you. Yeah, I know it's not for you. But and according to you, Bruce Springsteen would be more my thing anyway. But yeah, that's enough of that.
You said it, not me.
Okay.
You said it.
You suggested it. But
I didn't say a word.
But all jokes to one side, it was all about Harrison. It's I really enjoy his music. We're not all about the rock music.
No, not at all.
Go and listen to Harrison's albums online. Just tell Alexa, Google his name. He's on YouTube. He's got his music video there. That's really great as well.
There. Yeah, exactly.
Go to the website. You'll find links for Harrison on his episode. And as always, we like to hear from you, our audience. Thank you as always for listening.
Yeah.
www.amlopodcast.com. If you don't mind, leave us a review. Leave us a voice message. Leave us anything. Leave us a suggestion for what you want us to do in the future.
If anybody has had, obviously, an Australian pepperami, could they tell us?
Yeah,
if
definitely
it's
tell
any
us that. We got a listener in Australia, haven't we? So
we have, yeah. So
at least one. I think we got a few.
I think obviously they are the same, but
Yeah.
you never know. Things do look like a Milky Way in America isn't a Milky Way, is it? I can't think what it is.
In Australia, it's called a Milky Way.
Oh,
sorry,
could have been in a room with it.
Yeah, I know.
It's like you had a Foster's in your hand. Then.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just because you've had a Foster's. You're Australian. All of a sudden.
I'm getting Foster's syndrome. But,
Foster's syndrome.
It's a known thing. But the Australians will know. But go to the website. Please download Harrison's music.
Yeah, give it a
support
listen.
him where you can. We'll be going to watch him.
Sure.
Right, I'm going to go and put my head down now. Thanks everyone for listening as always.
Get back in the home.
Thanks, Trev. And we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please leave a rating and review and visit our website at www.amlopodcast.com to check out all the links and resources in the show notes. Start living them good times. See you next time.